Good morning, everybody. It is officially the full day here, kicking off Tape Week 2026 here in Louisville. My name is Adam Robertson, part of PSTC's marketing team. I'm standing next to our president, Jonathan Hirsh from Lamart Corporation. Jonathan, thank you for the time.
It's great to see you. Great to be here.
Great to see you again. We've talked the past 2 years. I want to ask you about your priorities, the focus of the board as we continue through this year and as we look to the year ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, with the board, we actually had our quarterly meeting yesterday, and one of the things we talked about was making sure that we are delivering the right value to both our manufacturer members and our supplier members, especially during these tumultuous times. So it's a real important driver, I would say, probably number one for us. And as an example, we have multiple tracks here, so that we're trying to get the technical folks, the environmental and sustainability folks covered, as well as some of our emerging leaders with our new Ascend program, and also our Women in Tape program.
And so that's really exciting new initiatives and programs. Women in Tape industry is our second year, I believe, of that. We introduced it last year. Ascend program, we actually have some programming going on right now. We had a reception for them yesterday. And so just talking about all these new programs and initiatives, not just that, but evolutions of things that we have been doing for years, right? Tape Academy. Tell me about those programs. How does focusing on them, evolving them, introducing new ones, how does that continue helping PSTC deliver value to our stakeholders?
Sure. Well, I mean, the beautiful thing about both the Women in Tape program and Ascend is that they were member driven, right?
Yeah.
They were ideas brought to the board by some of our members, and everybody on the board was like, "This is great." We're engaging two populations, I guess you could say, that historically have not been as well represented in industry, especially in our industry. So to see the emerging leaders in Ascend, giving them growth opportunities, skills, and for the Women in Tape. I'm a father of two daughters, so it makes me very happy to see that the women are going to be well represented. I think the program's gotten off to a great start, and being in a family business, that seeing a place for women in my family to be it really brings me a lot of joy, I guess you could say. So.
It's special. I remember the first reception we had last year for Women in Tape industry. Benita, one of our co-chairs, she started crying, right? Because she was so excited that had materialized. With the Ascend program, right, we are always talking about PSTC's effort to help equip the next generation of leaders.
Correct.
Right? And so this is our sort of first foray into continuing focusing on that segment of our field. So really, really excited, really, really proud of those groups.
Yeah.
Let's shift a little bit because there's something really exciting coming up, and that is our refreshed, I believe it was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
that
2016, that's right.
Our refreshed market research study. So let's tell me about that.
So, it's multifaceted and multi-phased, I think is the best way to explain it. The first phase, we're starting to collect information to really cover three things, but I think the most important one is where is tape going? As a bonding solution, as an opportunity to replace other products, areas that are really growing. So when you look at those kind of three big items, that's what we're trying to capture. The last time we did this, we identified building and construction as a really large opportunity. I think when I look across the board at most of our member companies, they're all well represented in building and construction. Yeah. So what's next, right? And then, taking that information and, in that second phase, really driving explanations of where we see opportunities as an industry, not just as a company, but as an industry. So, 10 years is a long time. A lot's changed in that period. So it's an exciting refresh. And I think, one of the things that I'd like to see the organization doing that more often, because I think it really does give people a sense of a broad picture of where our industry is going, as opposed to maybe a company by company basis.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's the power of a trade association.
Correct.
Right? You have all of these incredible members that member companies and their teams that are here that we can support and of course get input from. So we're really looking forward to that. We're talking about how to package up that research study deliver it to our members. And I think the idea is Fall Leadership Forum. That's when we're going to officially release some version of that, phased approach. But we're really proud of the work that we're doing with that research study. Let's talk about why we're here this week.
Sure.
Why should companies and their teams be at Tape Week, Jonathan?
Well, I think, if you look at, like we were talking about before, right, we cover a lot of different aspects. So for the product development and R&D people, we have a track. For the EH&S people, we have a track. For the marketing folks, we have a track. So there's an opportunity for each kind of group within a business to learn, but it's also the networking and getting together. I don't get to see a lot of these people, but maybe twice a year. So it's always nice to reconnect with everybody and kind of see how things are going. There's, I guess, when times are tough and supply chains are constrained, it's nice to commiserate a little bit and kind of learn from everybody else on how they're managing things. So for me, it's really about getting to see everybody and we make sure that there's a lot of opportunity for people to be able to talk, and it's not just lectures and things like that. So whether it be roundtables or just networking time, the free time that we have during the day to have meetings and things like that, it's really a nice opportunity to get to see a lot of people in a short period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. We have dozens and dozens of speakers, right? I think what's really special about Tape Week is we do have these concurrent tracks, right? To really choose sort of your pathway into what's applicable to you. That really helps us get. Of course, we want more and more team members from our companies represented here, take advantage of the education that we have on offer. So it's a really great week. We have some days ahead, so we're looking forward to those days. Bigger picture, right? So we have Tape Week obviously this week. We have our Fall Leadership Forum, which is a little bit more of a boutique sort of niche group that we have attend that event. We offer things throughout the year. So tell me about just the value of being engaged with PSTC throughout the year.
Yeah, we have collaborative corners, so on a pretty regular basis, at least quarterly, but sometimes more often, we have these collaborative corners that try to address important factors that our members are facing. When tariffs were an issue, that was something that we talked about. Development, all these different things that really kind of speak to not necessarily one specific person in the company, but multiple people. So it's a nice opportunity to reconnect with people there. And we have committees that are participating in multiple things. So we love when our members have their staff and employees join. So there's a lot of opportunities. We're going to be looking at some of our education rather than just delivering it in person, perhaps some more online offerings so that we can have a broader exposure there. We now have a certificate program where our member employees can now gain basically a point system for attending things, for participating in things, for learning things, and they're able to progress through 4 steps. So it's a nice opportunity for either it be the emerging leaders in all functions to be able to really grow within the industry and be recognized for it.
And I know later today, I believe, we're going to recognize the first, we talked to Michelle Murray, we talked about this with him, recognize the first five
people,
recipients of the first level industry specialist of that program. So it's really about, talking about year-round increasing touch points throughout the year, right? It's not just like, I'm going to show up, at Tape Week and then we're going to talk about something else and I'm going to go back to my work, show up the next year. It's really meeting with the committees, it's engaging through collaborative corners, as Jonathan mentioned, and it's keeping up the connection throughout the year because we all like that, right?
Yeah.
Jonathan, thank you so much. It's a pleasure as always.
Thank you. Good to see you.